Hey folks, how's it going? I'm Josh.
I'm Taylor.
And we're going to be checking out what, my dear?
Joey Diaz, True Friendship at a Memorial Service.
Alright guys, I did other This Is Not Happening without Tay, because she was at work. And just like the other one guys, we're going to do some pauses. This is Comedy Central, and we have to stop getting our videos blocked. So get ready for those pauses. If you don't like pauses, then leave now. We won't hold it against you. We won't even know that you're
Don't
really
tell
here.
people to leave.
Get out! But let a lot of people know, a lot of people don't like the pauses. No. So let's jump right into it. Uh-oh. I'm not starting over.
Just do it. It's fine.
Just letting them know.
You know, when I was a kid, my mom had a bar and she was popular, so she had a lot of like girlfriends that hung out with her, like hot girls. But there was this one chick that she used to be kind of tight with that I couldn't fucking understand. With the friendship, like they would be on the phone all day, they would talk 5 times a day. If my mother was in the city, she would stop by her house. And then as I got older, I got the backstory that they knew each other in Cuba. And then this lady's name was Z. That's what we're gonna call her for this fucking story. Because the names have changed to protect the innocent, all that shit. So they came from Cuba, and Z married some dude and went to Chicago. My mom opted, went to New York, and like 6 months into the marriage, the guy was beating the hell out of Z, and my mom and my dad drove down there and saved her in the middle of the night and took her to New York, and she was indebted to them, and this is like 1960. And, you know, as long as I remember, my mom used to go over there, and I like going over to where she lived, because she went on to become a huge drug dealer in New York, right? On 113th and 5th Avenue in the mouth of Spanish motherfucking Harlem, right? And it was scary. It was like The Walking Dead. You see like Puerto Ricans walking around, people fucking nodding on the sidewalks. It was just amazing as a little kid to see this. Fuck the circus and the zoo. These are real fucking animals, like hanging there, laying in their own puke and shit. It's fucking tremendous. So I like going there too, because she always give me like a 20 or a 50. As young as I was, she always dropped, and she always did a blast of coke, no matter where the fuck she was. You understand me? So I would go over there, she'd pick me up, kiss me, and then go in her bra, do a line, and ask me how school was. And she went to my first communion. She did a bump kneeling down in the fucking thing. She don't give a fuck. That's a real crazy lady. Not one of these ladies with a tattoo and a hat with a feather. I'm so crazy. No, you're not, all right?
Joey Diaz. When I was watching the last one, I was like, this dude is so good at telling stories, man.
Yeah.
He had me just roped into the screen telling the stories, and he's funny, he's hilarious too. Look at this guy in the back, freaking just into it, man. The guy just standing right there, checking it out. Well, yeah, this dude's great at telling stories, man.
No, you're not. You go to yoga at Studio City. You ain't that fucking crazy, all right? Fucking crazy. Go to yoga in Compton, bitch, and then we'll talk. So, go into her house, guys. She lived on the 2nd floor of a bodega, and this is in the mid-'70s. You know, you knocked on Z's door, and a black guy opened the door, and he'd point you to the back. And I knew I would run to the back, and she lived she had like maybe 3 rooms, you know, like a living room, but where she sold coke out of and heroin was this little room that had like beads in the front, like, you know, you opened it up and shit, and she'd be in there watching like novellas with a scale, a bag of coke, a gun, and a motherfucking chihuahua, you understand? Who fucking has a chihuahua for protection? And she was dark Cuban, so she had big tits and an ass. Like, she was good looking, but she had blonde hair. It was tight. 30 years before Little Kim. I mean, she was way ahead of her fucking time. Finally, like in the 8th or 9th grade, I figured out, you know, they were just good friends. They spoke all the time. Then my mom died. And she was the first phone call I made. And she was the first one there, you know. She made all the funeral arrangements. You motherfuckers been to regular viewings with Gentiles where they sit around and cry, and it's like, oh, he was such a great man. That's great. That's great. Then there's Irish fucking wakes where people are drinking and cursing, but then there's Cuban wakes. That makes an Irish wake look like a fucking daycare, okay? They drink 24, and it's open 24 hours. 24 hours funeral parlor.
God
and
damn.
anything goes. People doing lines, people arguing, people playing dominoes, people playing fucking dominoes at my mother's fucking wake, okay? And the first night I hear this commotion, and I go in the hallways. Z had the funeral director by the throat because she put the wrong dress on my mother. that is a fucking friend, motherfuckers, right? Like, because anybody could be your fucking friend when you're alive. But to fucking be at your funeral smacking motherfuckers, right? That's a friend, right?
That's how intense my auntie was. Like, of course, it was her brother when my uncle passed away.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
about like him having on the right suit and all that kind of jazz. And this, like, yeah, like his face was looking mushy and she was snapping because they did something weird about like his face or something. I can't remember. I was so young. I was like maybe 9. I remember her like yelling at the funeral director and all that jazz and all that stuff. But I don't really like really dramatic funerals. I mean, nobody likes funerals in general, but the people who like, oh God, take me now. I can't stand that whole process. Like I've been to, I've lost a lot of people in my family, and I go to the funerals and the sad and all that kind of stuff, but I never got the whole, oh gee, I'm gonna jump in the hole. It's like you're just looking for attention. I feel like a lot of people do that kind of stuff. They just want attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can be sad, but
not dramatic
like
and make the whole day about you.
Right, where you're just, everyone's like crowded around you.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, Sheila, it's gonna be okay. Somebody died, Sheila. Like, get out of here.
Right, it's not all about you.
That's a fucking friend, you know? And she was checking people. Like, hey, fuck you. You didn't like her, and she didn't fucking like you. She was checking people, you know? And all these people in there, oh, we loved her, and all this shit. You didn't hear shit from this lady. You didn't hear a word. There was no fakeness out of her. Right there, I learned what fake was and what real it was. At that early age, I learned it. I saw it. Like, people come up to me, oh my God, if you need anything. And then after my mom died, I call them and they changed their fucking phone number. But just little things that I saw right there, and I decided, oh my God, that's what a fake person is. I loved your mother. Oh God, take me. All that shit. You know, the whole fucking 4 days of the week, Z didn't say shit. She would every once in a while just sit in the back and just take a little bump out of her bra. And look at me and go, and she would just watch what was going on. Even, and she was such a woman, like, men would be having conversation. I'm not talking about regular fucking guys. I'm talking about Latin, old school, machismo motherfuckers. And she would go tell them shit, like, shut the fuck up. Like, even they were scared of her. And I observed all this, like, how she had taken over from my mother. And then the last night, my mom got buried on a Monday. And that Sunday, I went outside to smoke a joint, whatever the fuck you go outside of a wake for, to get air. And when I came back, she was alone with my mother. It was the first time they were alone together. And she was kneeling down. And that's where I got it. She was petting her hair. And she was telling her how beautiful she was. And how the world wasn't going to be the same without her. And how she was going to miss her. And she was her sister. And it was just fucking mind-boggling. And then she said, and she turned, like she knew I was there. And she goes, I'm going to take care of this motherfucker. I'm going to take care of him, and I'm going to watch over him, and I'm going to make sure he grows up to be a fucking man. And I saw the meaning of friendship right there when Z was petting the fucking hair and doing bumps. She did a fucking bump right there, right? She did a bump, looking at the casket. She's like, I'd give you one, but... What's the difference at this point?
This dude will make you tear up and then make you laugh, man. Cause
Yeah,
he's telling, he was making me like tear up, telling the whole thing about his mom, and then he'll just freaking roll back and laugh. Or I was seeing at the other video like he's like Doug Stanhope, man, who can make you like just you just getting make you deep. Bring it down, getting deep, and then bringing it right back up, man. What a fucking storyteller.
But then it was after that. She stuck to her fucking word. Every Sunday she'd come over from Long Island and meet me at Weehawken Cemetery, and she'd bring a bottle of Dewar's, flowers. And she'd pour the bottle of Dewar's out and tell my mother how much she loved her and she missed her, and she'd do some bumps. And by that time, I was doing coke. And she would, like, do bumps into the spirit, like, here's a couple for you. And I'd be like, no, let me give them fucking things to me. You're gonna fucking throw them on the grass. It's $20 a fucking blast there. $20, $20, $20. Stop it already. Give it to me. So this went on. She took care of me, guys, from 79 till 83, till I got out of high school. Every fucking Sunday, 200 fucking beans. And she'd bring me weed, a little $5 nickel bag from the city. And then in 83, I moved to Colorado, and, you know, I got into craziness and shit. But I always called her twice a week. I would send her pictures, you know. And then I moved back to Jersey. And by that time, I was a fucking lunatic, you know, and cocaine had absorbed me and stuff. And I kept in touch with her, and I would go into the city once a week and take her for a Cuban sandwich. There was a place on 118th Street we walked. And I went and I went to Miami and I found some friends of hers and I beat them for like a half a kilo. And I just felt fucking bad. You know how it is, dog. One bump leads into another. Next thing you know, you're having a party. Next thing you know, you did 6 ounces of blow. It's a fucking nightmare. You know what I'm saying? And there's no rehabs. There's no hugs. You know. They don't give a fuck. You know. That's it. So I felt embarrassed. I came back from Miami and I fucked these people over. I felt embarrassed, so I didn't call. I didn't call her for like 5 months. And in January of '85, I finally got a little sober, and I called her one day, and I goes, Z, what's going on? And she's like, where the fuck have you been? She goes, you haven't called me in like 5 months. She goes, the cops raided me. They took everything. She goes, my leg broke, and there was nobody here for me. And I felt fucking terrible. I let my mother down. I let myself down. I let Z down. And I was at a payphone, and I just dropped the fucking payphone. It was like a kick in my stomach, like she had just said, you know, where the fuck were you for me? For all those years I was there for you. And you just disappeared on me. And I just felt terrible. And I walked away from the payphone. I didn't call her for about a week or two. And then I finally called and the phone was disconnected. And I went over to the bodega a few times and they told me that she got busted and they closed the apartment. And I never talked to her again. And I felt like shit. And I live with that today. And that was 1985, you know. And I thought about it and I digested it. And I swore to God that if I ever had a chance to be a friend to somebody, because you don't need 20 friends. You just need 3 motherfuckers and you could take over a country. Okay, that's what we're confused as Americans. We think we need all these motherfuckers. You give me 3 bad motherfuckers and you're finished. You understand me? You're fucking finished. Because we got each other. And
oh my God, this dude's so freaking real, man. The stories are so good.
Yeah.
That sucks, man. I feel like it's going to end on a bad note.
I know.
This direction it's going, it's like, oh man, don't end on a bad, end on something good. Oh no.
And, you know, listen, man, like Ari's my fucking Goomba to the end. He might be a Jew or whatever, Cuban, but that's my fucking Goomba. And he knows that's why I'm here. Not because whatever, but, you know, I promised that I would be a friend to people and I would live and die for them. And, you know, when I look at people now, I always look at people sometimes and I go, how's that motherfucker gonna feel when I die? Is he gonna be talking shit at my funeral? Or is he gonna squeeze my daughter and come see her every week and give her a toy? You know, and that's how I have to look at people. That's how I was raised, you know? And I always live with that guilt of not doing something for my friend. And then in 2007, I got off the blow. I quit doing cocaine. Don't ask, you know, don't clap. Nobody's supposed to do it anyway, you know? People are like, I'm off drugs. You're an asshole. You're not supposed to do drugs anyway, okay? Don't fucking break your arm tapping yourself in the back, asshole. So, right or wrong, these motherfuckers walk around with their water. I'm sober now. Who gives a fuck? You know, 2 months ago you were sucking dick for rock at the Roxy. Now I gotta fucking shake your hand. Fuck you. Motherfuckers don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Just man, I was telling his stories. He's so intense. Reminds me of my auntie stories and listen to some of Jarvis stories. Yeah, Jarvis is a really good storyteller too, man. Like I said, I got to bring my auntie or Jarvis on one of these, man, because they're just so freaking good, man. Yeah. This dude's such a good storyteller, and he's real, like real and raw.
Yeah.
So I got off coke. I had been off coke like 4 days. I used to go like 18 hours, and I'm like, ooh. That's a long fucking time, you know? I was clean for 4 days, and a dear friend of mine died. She was a comedian. She died of cancer. And there was this one producer that used to mess with us all the time here in L.A. He would have these festivals and tell us that he was going to book us and then decide, oh, no, I'm not hiring dirty comics this year. Why would you have to work so dirty? He'd make us feel bad about being dirty comics. We were just expressing who the fuck we were, you know what I'm saying? So I saw him then. He had messed with me and Marilyn a couple times, and I saw him at the church. Right, I saw him at the church, but it was 10 o'clock. I was a little on the stone side. I said, I might as well not say nothing. You know, sometimes you do a bong hit before church just to calm your nerves. You know, sometimes just 1.5, just to, you know, just to loosen you up before church. And because church sucks without a bong hit. Trust me, that's why it sucked as a kid. Once you start doing bong hits, church ain't that bad. It's a fucking hour. People shake hands. They give you a cookie. You know, everybody, peace be with you. You know what I'm saying? Right on. Peace be with you, brother. Peace be with you. Peace be with you.
That's so stupid.
So that night they had a memorial at a comedy club, and when I walk into the memorial, well, they had free food at the memorial, like this, like they buried her that day, but they had like a microphone, they had a picture where you're gonna go up and say words. Then they had free food. When I walk in, guess who's eating the fucking free motherfucking food? That motherfucking producer. Now, by that time, it's after 8 o'clock. The cocaine addiction is growing. I'm getting madder by the minute. I'm Cuban. It's just developing, right? And they come over to me and they go, listen, we do the memorial. Can you go up on stage first? And I'm like, absolutely. And I'll get my words over and I'll get the fuck out of here. So I go home and go to sleep before I choke this motherfucker too, right? So they say, Joe, come into the stage. Joey Diaz, I go on stage. People, you know me. I talk for like a minute, and this motherfucker's over there with that smile on his face. You know when somebody's got like that smile on their fucking face? And in the middle of my memorial, I just stopped. And I go, I don't know what the fuck you're smiling about, motherfucker, you know? But I tell you what, I'm gonna go get a drink, and when I get back, you, your wife, and that fucking attorney better get the fuck out of here, because I'm gonna fuck you motherfuckers up. And I was serious, guy. I was fucking serious. Like, I was done. Like, 7 days without a line of coke. This motherfucker is my out. I'll beat him up. And then fucking they'll throw me in county jail for 30 days. By the time I got out, I'll be clean and sober. I mean, that was my fucking... That's how you gotta think when you're fucking addicted, how I was, you know?
Oh, shit.
But I was really pissed about what this motherfucker had done to me and to Marilyn, and how he had the balls to show up at this fucking wake with that smile on his fucking face. And as I went to the drink and I came back in and him and his fucking family were gone, when I walked to my car, I thought about one thing. That I'm through. I did what I had to do. Without even knowing, I stuck up for one of my friends who had died. And that night, I became that much better as a human fucking being. I made my peace with Z, I made my peace with my mother, and most importantly, I made my peace with myself. And that's my story about that.
Whoa, that is clap, man.
Manscaped's 25%.
That dude's fantastic, man. Such a good freaking storyteller, man. Let's get this stupid ad on my thing. That was so freaking good, man.
Yeah,
That dude's so funny.
Yeah.
His stories are so real, and I think it resonates a little bit more, like with me, because I've have family members that have told stories about that stuff in regards to like drugs, losing people, all that type of jazz, and like I was saying before, people who deal with a lot of tragedy in their life, like I've dealt with poverty, I've dealt with tragedy and stuff like that, but like that real tragedy, like drug addiction, all that kind of stuff, man. That's why always when I hear people complain about really dumb stuff, and I'm around people who've been through, like Tyler's been through so much, but Tyler turns everything into a joke. He makes sure everything's funny. Yeah. And he keeps like an upbeat attitude about things. And my brother's been through a lot. And he's same thing. He tells all these funny stories, all that kind of jazz, and he can put a spin on something so negative. And that's why I always try to be that way as much as possible. I always try to keep a positive, like, head on things. Yeah. Because it's so easy to walk around and get stuck under that cloud of negativity.
Yeah. And everything's against you. That kind of thing. And I'm
finding like I don't know, like saying making peace with his mom. You didn't hear the last story, but his mom passed away from him lying and stuff like that. During the time while he was like telling a lie and stuff. And like saying that's why he never tells a lie, because he was doing drugs and hiding from his mom and yada yada yada, blah blah. And his mom passed away because he was trying to avoid when she was calling his name to come down the stairs and stuff, and he found her dead. So like him making peace, like wrapping into that, like him finally making peace. Such a good story, man. It's such a nice rope into it, and you can see like the you can hear the heartbreak in the dude's voice. You can see the honesty in his eyes, and these series, like people in my family tell stories like that too, and shit. They're so good. They can be sad, but they're funny. It's like a roller coaster. The stories.
Yeah,
I want to do all the talking. What about you? What do you think? What did you think about it?
No, I thought it was really good, so I liked it. I've never like seen anything with him on it, but it was sad, and he does a good job of like wrapping it all together. So I have to watch the other one because I haven't watched it yet.
Maybe we'll let you do a react. I kind of ruined it for you about his mom dying though, but he did mention mom dying too.
Yeah. Well, he said his mom.
I'll probably have you. We'll probably have Tay watch it by herself since I watch it by myself, and then we'll upload it. Okay. We can do that. But yeah. That was good.
And like to me, just like quickly, but like I don't do it anymore, but I worked like with people with disabilities, and I had a client that actually passed away not that long after I started working with them. I only worked with them like 4 or 5 months. Yeah. But like I got pretty close with her because she wasn't like super low functioning. You know what I mean? So I you know, and she'd been through a lot and stuff. And I felt really bad at her funeral because, like, you could tell that her family.
We had a
some
questions.
There we go.
Because her family, like, didn't really care about her that much, I feel like. And they, like, didn't, like, do her hair how she liked it.
Yeah.
They didn't put on an outfit that she would like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And that, like, really bothered me. And when I think about it, it really bothers me. So when he said, like, about the outfit thing, like, I was mad, and I only knew her, like, 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
And I didn't work with her for, like, 3 months before she passed away because she was, like, in a healthcare facility.
Yeah.
So, like, I kind of understand that feeling a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't obviously friends with someone for, like, years, but it really bothered me. I'm like, you're supposed to, like, be here for this person and care about them, and you didn't even, like, try to make sure that... I don't know, because I feel like it is a big deal when someone's died to make sure that they have something on that they would like.
Yeah, a representation of who they were.
Yeah, that's what it's about, and, like, it just really, like, bothered me. So that's, like, one thing that really stuck out to me was, like, that his mom really cared, because it's, like, sometimes people just touch your heart, and so, like, you care about them in that way. So, and it was, like, my friend, like, my best friend from high school, like, committed suicide a couple years ago, and it made me feel really nice because, like, he liked Pokemon and stuff, and, like, we played it and stuff in high school, and, like, he had a Pokemon shirt on when he died. His mom, like, asked them to put that on him instead of, like, a suit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he was young, he was only, like, a year older than me, so it's, like, you know, that kind of stuck out to me when he said that, but...
That is critical, because a lot of people, like, they'll give the person, like, what they think they should wear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why sometimes if you ever go to a funeral and they're like, oh my God, it looks just like her. Or, oh my God, it looks just like him. Like, they did such a good job. Or you go to a funeral like, oh my God, it looks nothing like her.
Yeah.
It looks nothing like him. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's a big part of it, how they dress and all that kind of jazz, the way the person does the makeup and all that stuff. So it's definitely important. And it can definitely shake you up
if
and get
you
you frustrated
see them
if you see it
and they don't look
wrong.
like them at all. You know, it's just weird. So yeah. But I thought that was nice. And
yeah.
I think, like, me and Josh's hardships are different. So, like, you've been through some different things than I have. So I probably look at some things different. But, like, I could definitely see, like, with your family, like, some of the stuff they say, like, I'm like, that sounds horrible, and you're making a joke about it. But, you know. But your family, they take more things lighthearted. My family's, like, super dramatic about stuff, which I don't like.
Yeah, Tay's probably rich, if you guys want.
They're not rich. Oh my gosh, shut up. So stupid.
But yeah, that's why I'm big on working hard and all that kind of stuff, because I work a lot of hours and all that, and because it's big. Like, I went through poverty. I went through, like, not having lights for like 3-4 months, not having running water for sometimes 6 months and stuff. Like, going through that whole thing, having to go in the car because the heat's messed up just for the heat in the van, and then going to in Gary, there's on Klein Avenue, there's like a spring that's always running. So we're going there to fill those jugs up just because we didn't have anybody close to us and stuff like that we can go get the water from. And yeah, it was wild. And then having to live with my auntie, not knowing the reason we were going to live with my auntie, with it, we're just having a fun summer thing at my auntie's house. Not realize my mom was, like, losing the house and stuff like that, and she didn't want us to be without lights and water and stuff like that. So she went and just essentially just worked 2 jobs and slept out of her car a lot to save money. Like, you don't know that kind of stuff. Like, it's just
so you get older.
So you get older and you realize, like, all the sacrifice and stuff people made
for you.
So definitely.
And I think, like, for me, like, something that's important that I work hard for, per se, in, like, a different manner, like, domestically, like, in my personal relationships, is, like, growing up a lot of, like, mental abuse and stuff like that. So it's like, I try to get away from that. So I think, like, stories like this, I think, resonate with us completely different, you know? So, but it was really sad, and it was really good. I have to watch his other one, though. I really did like it a lot.
Yeah, definitely really, really good, guys. Sorry, this video it's already a long story he told, but it's now like 25 minutes. So that is all for this, folks. We're not gonna drag it out any longer. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, and comment below, and we will see you in the next one. Hopefully, this doesn't get blocked. Later.
Bye.